everybody, my name is Laura Roddy, and I am the Education Manager here at the Elephant Sanctuary. Today, we are celebrating our oldest elephant here at the Elephant Sanctuary, Billie. And I'm gonna let a couple more people join, and then we are gonna go ahead and get started. Wonderful. Well, as everybody's joining us, welcome. Like I said, my name is Laura Roddy, and I'm the Education Manager here at the Sanctuary. Now, this week is Billie's 60th birthday. So let's get started. Now, here at the Elephant Sanctuary, I always like to start by talking about our mission. Our mission is twofold. So, of course, we exist to take care of elephants that are retired from zoos and circuses, so they can live out the rest of their lives in a habitat and space dedicated to their care. But we also believe in education, which is why I'm talking with you today. We believe it's important to educate about the needs of captive elephants, but also the global crisis facing them in the wild. A little bit about Sanctuary. The Sanctuary is more than 3,000 acres. And it's a refuge that exists in a small town called Hohenwald, Tennessee, which is about 85 miles southwest of Nashville, Tennessee. We're the largest natural habitat refuge dedicated solely for the needs of Asian and African elephants in the United States. Most importantly, we are an accredited sanctuary. The habitats where the elephants live are not open to the public, and the elephants that live here are retired from performances and exhibition and the public eye. If you want to know more about the sanctuary or the work that we do here, you can look at our website, www.elephant.com. Now, there are 3 different species of elephants in the world, starting with the African savanna elephant, then the Asian elephant, and the African forest elephant. These species have a lot in common. They're all large, they have those long trunks. They're even similar colors and shades, but there's actually lots and lots of differences between these 3 species. Starting with their size. The African savanna elephants are the largest, followed by the Asian elephants. They're kind of like that middle and medium size. And then we have the African forest elephants, which are the smallest of the 3 species. The next difference is going to be that their ears are different. So both of the African elephants have these really big round ears that are large, round, and flat. While Asian elephants, their ears are going to be much smaller. They're going to have more angles on them, and they're going to have a fold along the top of them. That's probably the difference that I use the most when I'm traveling or anything like that, and I see an elephant. I definitely use their ears to tell if it's an African elephant or an Asian elephant. The final difference, well, one of the last differences I'm going to talk about today is their tusks. So with African elephants, both boys and girls can grow tusks, but with Asian elephants, only males can. Only the male Asian elephants can grow them. I'm going to tell you a little cheat sheet. Here at the Elephant Sanctuary, we only have girls. We have no male or boy elephants here. So it's pretty easy to identify if it is an African elephant because they have tusks, while the Asian elephants, they do not. It's a little cheat for here at the sanctuary. Now, the final difference that we're going to talk about is going to be where they're from. Asian elephants is going to be that green color on your screen, and they're found throughout Asia, in Thailand, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and many other countries. That cream color on your screen, that's the African savanna elephant, and they are found in the largest geographic region of the 3 species. These are going to be those wide open savannas, those tall grasses that people imagine when they're thinking about those African savannas. And finally, that orangish red color on your screen, that is the African forest elephant. African forest elephants are found in Central Africa in those lush forested areas. And that color on your screen is actually the only place in the whole world that you can find an African forest elephant. To our knowledge, African forest elephants were never brought into human care, so they never left their native habitat. That's the only place you can find them. While it's important to talk about all three species of elephant today, we're going to talk about Billie. And Billie is one of our Asian elephants. Billie here was born in India in 1962. Asian elephants that were brought to the United States during this time were believed to be captured from the wild and separated from their family at a very early age. After arriving in the United States, Billie spent some time in a zoo in Massachusetts, and at the time, her name was Popsy, and after her time at the zoo, she was actually sold into the performing industry. Elephants in circuses and the performing industry were trained in a variety of different techniques, but the primary one that was used was using dominance and force to have that elephant follow the commands of the humans. Around the age of 10, Billie was acquired by the Hohenwald Corporation. The Hohenwald Corporation was an organization that would train and lease elephants to smaller circuses. Billie spent the next 20 years traveling the country with the circus. As Billie matured into an adult elephant, she gained a reputation as an aggressive elephant. And it was decided that she was no longer allowed to be on tour with the circus anymore. She was housed in northern Illinois at the winter headquarters for the Hohenwald Corporation in a 20 by 20 stall for 13 years, with little time outside and little time with other elephants. After years of violations, including inadequate care and mistreatment against the elephants, the USDA charged the Hohenwald Corporation with countless violations against the Animal Welfare Act. This resulted in 11 elephants being confiscated and transferred to the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee between 2003 and 2006. On February 9th, 2006, 44-year-old Billie became the 21st elephant to join the Elephant Sanctuary. Billie, as well as the other Hawthorne elephants, had known exposure to tuberculosis. The sanctuary's Q habitat made the perfect habitat for the elephants to give them the best care and safe environment for them to be able to thrive. She was welcomed by all the other Hawthorne elephants that had already made the journey from Illinois to Tennessee. At this point, Billie had the opportunity to create bonds and connect with other elephants, something she didn't have the opportunity to do in the last 13 years. She gravitated towards Frida and Liz, and they were found exploring the habitat and going on adventures on a normal basis. Billie, like many circus elephants, lived with a chain around her ankle. Circuses would put this on them to keep them in a small, confined space. In 2011, the sanctuary started practicing protected contact, as well as positive reinforcement training. What this means is that there's always a physical barrier in between a human and an elephant, or any animal that works in protected contact. This is for our safety, but it also gives them freedom of choice. Staff believed through building trust and patience between she and the caregivers, Billie may be ready to have that chain removed. In May of 2011, after 5 years at Sanctuary, Billie finally trusted the care staff here at Sanctuary to remove that chain from her ankle. This was the last physical symbol of her life in circus. And Billie's story was actually written in a book. It's a nonfiction book named Last Chain on Billie, How One Extraordinary Elephant Escaped the Big Top. It's written by Carol Bradley. It's actually on sale in our shop all month long in honor of the anniversary of the Hawthorne herd's arrival at the sanctuary. Now, Billie today Billie is our oldest elephant at the Elephant Sanctuary. She is 60 years old this week and lives in our Q habitat with Ronnie, Debbie, and Minnie, all of which were part of that Hawthorne herd before coming to Sanctuary. Well, Liz and Frida have both passed away, although they had many years together and with Billie in their retirement at Sanctuary. Billie still socializes with Ronnie specifically, who seems to be a very popular elephant with our Q residents. While elephants are social animals, and Billie certainly has formed those social bonds, sometimes she likes to seek out and she enjoys that time by herself. She likes to go swimming. She explores a lot of the woods and those meadows, and she'll graze in the grasses all day long. Now, I want to welcome someone that spends a lot of time with Billie, Brandi Montgomery. She is actually the Q Habitat Barn Lead Caregiver, and she's going to answer some of our questions that our sustaining donors and adopters were curious about Billie. Welcome, Brandi.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, but I want to start with, who are you? Where are you from? How in the world did you end up working with elephants?
Yeah, so I'm Brandi Montgomery. I'm from Alaska. I went to college in Alaska as well, and throughout college, I did multiple internships, most of which were for sanctuaries. And after those internships, I knew that, yep, I wanted to work in a sanctuary setting. And after college, I did my job applications here and there. And then when the Elephant Sanctuary had a job opening, I said, yep, sign me up. So I packed whatever fit in my car and drove to Hohenwald, Tennessee. And here I am 7 years later.
I bet the temperature difference between Alaska and here is quite a bit different.
Yes, it is. I really like it.
Now, something I'm always curious about is how will the care staff identify the elephants? So what are the characteristics that you use when you're identifying Billie from the other elephants?
Yeah, so Bill is our more elusive elephant in the Q habitat, especially from the viewpoint of the Ellie cams. But her biggest distinguishing quality is that she's very short. She's got very short legs and a big round belly. So when you see her on camera, sometimes the grass is so tall and she is so short that her belly just kind of like touches the top of the grass.
How fun. Now, Joy from North Carolina wonders, what is a typical day like for Billie in 2022?
So Bill, care staff get around to the barn at between 7 and 8 a.m., depending on the season. And we'll first prep her breakfast. So she's, got breakfast. Everyone wants breakfast first thing in the morning. And while she's eating her breakfast, the care staff will go and enrich her habitat. So she has some good snacks that she'll find when she's out exploring. Before we give her the access to the habitat, we will do her husbandry and veterinarian care because she is an older lady. She's, the oldest, as you stated. So she does require a little bit more than the other Q residents. And then after that, she is ready to go out and she'll spend the majority of her day exploring, finding those hidden snacks that we prepped for her. And then when it's time for dinner, we'll go out to her unless she's back at the barn when it's cold out. And we'll give her dinner. If she's at the barn, we'll prep her dinner inside. And that is a typical day for Billie.
Well, that sounds like such a fun day. Now, I know the care staff and are giving the elephants enrichment on a daily basis. So what types of special enrichment does Billie really enjoy?
Anything with food. Billie loves her food. We'll prep grapes, cut up pears, hidden bananas. We'll prep all of her hay, as well as her Missouri grain, which is, it's a grain that has all of the necessary supplements to help her.
Awesome. I definitely think food is a great thing for elephants. Now, do you have a special or favorite memory with Billie?
Oh gosh, every day. She's actually the first elephant you'll typically see when you get to work in the morning because where her barn is placed. So right when you enter the doors, you'll see Billie, But one of my favorite memories is, well, backstory. Bill's a very routine lady. She's very set in her ways. You typically know where she's going to be at what part of the day. Well, one day we go out to give her PM diet, and she's not in her typical location. We kind of venture around like that area a little bit, still no sign. But what Billie had done was actually gone all the way to the end of the habitat that she was in, went up a hill and down another road within that like upper part of the habitat. And we were first of it amazed that she went up that steep hill, especially she's an older lady. I get exhausted going up that hill. And ever since then, really, she has been exploring just new places in the habitat. And it's just really eye-opening and enlightening to see that she can still do those kind of things, even today.
I love that. Now, in the book, The Last Chain on Billie, we read about Billie's retirement to sanctuary and the time immediately following Billie coming to sanctuary. She was really anxious. She was a very fearful elephant. So what is Billie like now? 16 years after retirement, 11 years after the chain came off. How would you describe Billie?
She is a completely different elephant. Even in the 7 years that I've been here, she has just progressed and become a completely different elephant. Like I said, when I first started, she was very fearful, like major anxiety. It was a little heartbreaking, but as time goes on, she has really just come to terms with herself. She's really brave and like courageous. She is, like I said, exploring new places in the habitat. She's just more sure of herself, which is really nice.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, if you are wanting to see more about Billie or any of the other elephants here at Sanctuary, you can look at our social media accounts. You can follow us and you can see all of the celebrations we're having for Billie this week. It is her 60th birthday. And if you want to learn more about the Elephant Sanctuary and the work that we do, you can go to our website at www.elephants.com. I want to thank you, Brandi, for hanging out with me and chatting with me about Billie. I hope everybody gets to celebrate for Billie with us. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.